Your soulmate noticed something about you that changed their behavior overnight. Don't scroll, listen to this, because this message is for you, and your heart needs this right now. What shifted between you didn't happen randomly, and it didn't come from something you said wrong or did wrong. It happened because your soulmate saw something in you they were not ready to face within themselves. One moment, everything felt natural, flowing, familiar, and then suddenly their energy changed, their tone shifted, their presence pulled back, and you were left wondering what happened overnight. Stay till the end, because the universe is revealing what most people never realize about soulmate connections. Your soulmate didn't notice something small, they noticed something powerful. They noticed your growth. They noticed your strength. They noticed the way you started holding your own energy differently, the way you stopped over-explaining, the way you didn't chase the same way, the way your silence carried self-respect instead of fear. That moment woke something up inside them, and awakening doesn't always look like love moving closer, sometimes it looks like love stepping back in fear. This message is for you because you felt the shift before you could explain it. Your intuition sensed the change even when your mind tried to rationalize it. Don't scroll away now, because this wasn't rejection, it was confrontation. Your soulmate saw a version of you that no longer fit into the dynamic they felt safe controlling. They saw that you were becoming emotionally sovereign, spiritually grounded, and less dependent on external reassurance, and that realization shook them. Soulmate connections are mirrors, and when someone looks into a mirror and sees what they are not yet ready to become, they often retreat. Listen to this carefully, because your growth triggered their fear, not your flaws. Around this time, the universe may have started sending you signs. Angel numbers appearing at strange moments, like 555 when you felt confusion, signaling sudden change, or 222 when you questioned balance, reminding you that something was off energetically. These were not coincidences. These were confirmations that a shift had been activated. Your heart needs this right now because you've been questioning yourself, replaying conversations, wondering if you said too much or asked for too much, when in reality, you simply showed up as your evolving self. Stay with this message, because this is where destiny steps in. Your soulmate noticed that you were no longer willing to shrink, wait endlessly, or dim your emotional light to keep the connection comfortable. They noticed your boundaries forming quietly, your calm becoming stronger, your presence becoming less reactive. And instead of inspiring them immediately, it scared them. Fear doesn't mean lack of love, often it means love feels too real to control. Don't scroll, because this part matters deeply. Your soulmate's behavior changed overnight because they realized something had shifted in power, not power over them, but power within you. You were no longer operating from attachment alone, you were operating from awareness. That awareness changed the energetic balance. They could feel that you were no longer anchored to outcomes, that you were beginning to choose peace over chasing clarity. This message is for you because the universe wants you to understand that your growth was never meant to be hidden to protect someone else's comfort. You are allowed to evolve, even if it disrupts connections. Angel numbers like 444 may have started appearing to remind you that you are protected during this transition, that even if someone's behavior changes suddenly, you are not being abandoned, you are being guided. Seeing 1. May 11th have felt confusing, but it was calling you back to alignment with yourself, not just with the connection. Listen to this, because your soulmate's sudden distance was not a loss of interest, it was a loss of control over the old version of you. They realized you were becoming someone who could walk away with grace if needed, someone who could love without losing themselves, and that realization forced them to look at their own emotional readiness. Stay till the end, because this is not the end of the story, it's the beginning of clarity. Your soulmate noticed that you no longer needed validation the same way, that you trusted your intuition more, that you weren't willing to sit in confusion forever. And when someone benefits from your uncertainty, your certainty feels threatening. This message is for you because you are not meant to reverse your growth to keep someone close. Growth is the assignment. Soulmate connections don't exist to trap you in old patterns, they exist to awaken you to your truth. Don't scroll away now, because the universe is gently reminding you that if someone pulls away when you step into your power, they are showing you where they are, not who you are. Your heart needs this reassurance because sudden emotional shifts can feel destabilizing, but they are often signs that a higher alignment is forming. You may have felt waves of emotion, moments of sadness followed by calm, moments of longing followed by clarity, and that's because your soul is integrating this awakening. Angel numbers appearing repeatedly are anchoring you through this process, guiding you to trust what you feel instead of chasing explanations. Listen to this softly, because the universe speaks in calm truth, not panic. Whatever your soulmate noticed about you was real, and it mattered. It was your strength, your depth, your readiness to love from a grounded place. And even if they stepped back, that does not diminish what you are becoming. Stay with this message, because here is the divine reassurance: you did not lose anything by growing. You revealed what was aligned and what was not. The universe never asks you to shrink to be chosen. If someone cannot meet you at your level of awareness, they are not meant to stay in the same way. Breathe into that truth. Trust your evolution. And if this message resonated with your soul, if you felt seen, steadied, or understood, subscribe to this channel so you stay connected to what the universe is revealing next, because growth always comes before alignment, and clarity always follows awakening. Don't scroll, listen to this, because what's unfolding now is the deeper reason their behavior couldn't stay the same, and this message is for you because your heart needs understanding, not self-doubt. After your soulmate noticed that shift in you, the one you may not have even fully recognized yourself, something inside them started unraveling quietly. They began comparing who they were with who you were becoming, and that comparison didn't feel safe to them. It felt exposing. You didn't just grow emotionally, you grew energetically, and energy doesn't lie. They could feel that you were no longer anchored to the same fears, the same waiting, the same emotional dependence that once made the connection predictable. Stay till the end, because the universe is revealing why this kind of growth often triggers distance before it triggers truth. Your soulmate noticed that you started responding instead of reacting, that your silence felt calm instead of anxious, that you didn't chase clarity the way you used to. That subtle change sent a loud message to their subconscious: you were no longer someone they could approach casually or keep emotionally unresolved. This message is for you because you may have thought you were doing nothing different, but internally, you were aligning. And alignment changes dynamics whether people are ready for it or not. Don't scroll away now, because this was not about them losing interest, it was about them losing the upper hand they didn't even realize they relied on. When someone senses they can no longer take your presence for granted, they either rise to meet you or retreat to protect their comfort. Your soulmate chose retreat, at least for now, because rising requires vulnerability, accountability, and emotional courage. Listen to this carefully, because fear often disguises itself as distance. They noticed your independence growing, your intuition strengthening, your willingness to walk away from confusion, and instead of feeling inspired immediately, they felt exposed. Around this time, the universe likely started speaking to you more clearly. Angel numbers like 555 may have appeared, signaling sudden shifts and unavoidable change. Seeing 222 may have made you question balance, showing you that the emotional exchange was no longer equal. Seeing 4 for 4 may have arrived during moments of anxiety, reminding you that you are protected even when someone's behavior changes unexpectedly. Your heart needs this right now because sudden emotional withdrawal can make you question your worth, but the truth is, your worth became more visible, not less. Stay with this message, because this is where spiritual awakening deepens. Soulmate connections don't just reveal love, they reveal readiness. Your growth forced your soulmate to confront their own emotional limitations, the places where they were still avoiding depth, commitment, or honesty. They may not consciously understand why they pulled back, but energetically, they felt the shift. They sensed that continuing the connection would require them to evolve too, and not everyone is prepared to evolve at the same pace. Don't scroll, because this part matters deeply. Your soulmate noticed that you were no longer willing to stay in emotional gray areas. You began trusting your intuition more than promises, patterns more than words. That awareness disrupted the old rhythm of the connection. And when a rhythm breaks, people either learn a new one or step away from the music altogether. This message is for you because the universe wants you to stop internalizing their reaction as your mistake. Growth is not abandonment, it's alignment. Angel numbers like 1 May 11th have started appearing, calling you back to yourself, reminding you that new chapters begin internally before they show up externally. Seeing 333 may have reassured you that higher guidance was close, especially when emotions felt overwhelming. Listen to this, because the universe never awakens you just to leave you unsupported. Your soulmate's behavior changed because the connection reached a fork in the road. Stay the same and stay safe, or grow and risk emotional exposure. You chose growth. They hesitated. That hesitation is not your burden to carry. Stay till the end, because here is the truth meant to soothe you. When someone reacts to your growth by pulling away, they are revealing where they are on their journey, not where you are on yours. You did not become too much, you became more. More aware. More grounded. More aligned. And alignment has a way of shaking loose anything that can't meet it. The universe is not asking you to go backward to restore comfort. It is asking you to honor the version of yourself that no longer settles for confusion. Breathe into that. Trust what shifted within you. And remember, growth doesn't end connections that are meant to rise with you, it only exposes the ones that aren't ready yet. Don't scroll, listen to this, because what's being revealed now is the emotional truth behind why their behavior didn't just change temporarily, but stayed different, and this message is for you because your heart is ready to understand instead of blame itself. After your soulmate noticed the shift in you, the awakening didn't stop at comparison or fear, it moved into awareness, and awareness is uncomfortable when someone realizes they can no longer relate to you from the same level as before. They began to feel the gap between who they are emotionally and who you are becoming spiritually, and that gap created pressure. Pressure to grow, pressure to choose, pressure to be honest. Instead of stepping forward immediately, they stepped back, because stepping forward would have meant acknowledging that you were no longer someone they could keep in uncertainty. Stay till the end, because the universe is explaining why this phase feels heavier even though you've done nothing wrong. Your soulmate noticed that you started valuing peace over intensity, clarity over chaos, self-respect over emotional bargaining. You may not have announced it, but your energy spoke for you. Your responses were calmer. Your reactions were slower. Your silence felt grounded instead of anxious. That alone changed everything. This message is for you because you may have wondered why the more stable you became, the more distant they felt. Stability challenges people who are comfortable in emotional unpredictability. Don't scroll away now, because this was not a punishment for growing, it was a revelation of imbalance. When someone senses they are no longer the emotional center of your world, they are forced to confront their role in your life more honestly. Your soulmate realized that the version of you who waited, hoped, and adjusted endlessly was dissolving, and in its place was someone who could walk away without drama, someone who trusted themselves. That realization created fear, not because they didn't care, but because caring suddenly required courage. Listen to this carefully, because fear often shows up as distance. Around this time, the universe likely intensified the signs around you. Angel numbers appeared repeatedly, almost insistently. Seeing 555 signaled that a major internal shift was underway. Seeing 222 reflected the imbalance being exposed in the connection. Seeing 444 reassured you that you were protected as this dynamic changed. These signs were not about predicting their next move, they were about stabilizing you during your awakening. Your heart needs this right now because sudden emotional withdrawal can feel like rejection, but what you experienced was resistance. Resistance to your growth. Resistance to your clarity. Resistance to the loss of emotional comfort zones. Stay with this message, because this is where spiritual awakening becomes undeniable. Soulmate connections do not exist to keep us comfortable, they exist to evolve us. And evolution always disrupts familiar patterns. Your soulmate noticed that you were no longer asking for reassurance the same way, no longer tolerating ambiguity, no longer shrinking your needs to keep the peace. That shift signaled that continuing the connection would require them to meet you at a higher emotional standard. And instead of rising immediately, they paused. Don't scroll, because this next truth matters deeply. Pausing is not the same as ending, but it is the same as revealing readiness. Readiness cannot be forced, and growth cannot be reversed. This message is for you because the universe wants you to stop interpreting their hesitation as your failure. Their behavior changed because the old dynamic expired. You outgrew it. Angel numbers like 111 may have appeared during moments of self-reflection, calling you back to your own alignment. Seeing 333 may have comforted you when emotions surged, reminding you that higher guidance was close. These signs were anchoring you while the external situation felt unstable. Listen to this, because the universe never destabilizes you without offering deeper grounding. Your soulmate's behavior didn't change because you became less lovable, it changed because you became more whole. Wholeness removes dependency, and dependency often disguises itself as closeness. When that dependency fades, the relationship must either deepen authentically or fall apart temporarily. Stay till the end, because this is where clarity settles in. You were never meant to dim your growth to preserve connection. Connection that requires stagnation is not divine. The universe is not asking you to wait, fix, or convince. It is asking you to remain aligned with who you are becoming. Your soulmate's reaction belongs to their journey. Yours belongs to your destiny. Take a breath and let this truth ground you. What they noticed about you was real, powerful, and irreversible. And whatever happens next will unfold from that truth, not from fear, not from confusion, but from alignment that can no longer be ignored. Don't scroll, listen to this, because what the universe is revealing now is the moment when awareness turns into consequence, and this message is for you because your heart is strong enough to hear it. After your soulmate noticed the shift in you and pulled back instead of stepping forward, something irreversible began to form beneath the surface. Distance has a way of clarifying truth when words are avoided. What once felt like chemistry now feels like contrast. What once felt like possibility now feels like pressure. And that is not because love disappeared, but because alignment demanded honesty. Your soulmate is no longer just reacting to your growth, they are living with the reality of it. They feel the difference in how the connection flows, how your energy no longer reaches for them the same way, how the space between you is no longer filled with waiting but with quiet self-respect. Stay till the end, because this phase explains why everything feels suspended yet significant at the same time. Your soulmate noticed that you didn't collapse when they pulled away. You didn't chase the way they expected. You didn't beg for reassurance or scramble to restore comfort. Instead, you stayed grounded. That moment told them more than any conversation ever could. It showed them that you were no longer emotionally dependent on their presence to feel whole. And while that is healthy, it is also confronting to someone who was used to being the emotional anchor without fully committing. This message is for you because you may have wondered why their behavior didn't bounce back, why the distance lingered. The truth is, once someone realizes they can no longer access you from the same emotional position, they must decide whether to rise or retreat. And right now, your soulmate is sitting with that decision. Don't scroll away now, because this is where the spiritual lesson deepens. Soulmate connections are not maintained by intensity alone, they are sustained by integrity. Your growth raised the standard of the connection, and standards expose gaps. They are now feeling the weight of what staying connected would require: consistency, honesty, presence, and courage. Those are not small asks for someone who has been operating from comfort or avoidance. Listen to this carefully, because fear doesn't always look dramatic, sometimes it looks like delay. Sometimes it looks like confusion. Sometimes it looks like, I need time. But underneath that is the realization that continuing with you means becoming someone they are not yet ready to be. Angel numbers have likely continued to appear around you during this phase. Seeing 555 reflects the irreversible change already underway. Seeing 444 reassures you that you are protected as this connection restructures. Seeing 222 reminds you that balance is still being negotiated, even if it feels uneven right now. Your heart needs this reminder because it's easy to mistake someone's hesitation as a reflection of your value. It is not. It is a reflection of their readiness. Stay with this message, because this is where emotional maturity becomes visible. You are no longer waiting to be chosen. You are observing how someone handles the opportunity to choose you. That shift alone has altered the entire dynamic. Your soulmate feels that you are no longer holding the connection together on your own. And when one person stops overfunctioning emotionally, the truth of the bond is revealed. Don't scroll, because this next part matters deeply. Your soulmate is beginning to understand that what changed overnight was not your affection, but your tolerance. You stopped tolerating ambiguity. You stopped interpreting mixed signals as potential. You stopped shrinking your needs to maintain peace. That didn't make you distant, it made you clear. And clarity removes illusion. This message is for you because the universe wants you to recognize that clarity is not coldness, and boundaries are not punishment. They are alignment. Angel numbers like 111 may have shown up when you questioned yourself, reminding you that this is a new chapter of self-trust. Seeing 3-3 may have felt like quiet reassurance during emotional waves, signaling that higher guidance is walking with you as you integrate this shift. Listen to this, because the universe does not awaken you halfway. Once you see, you cannot unsee. Your soulmate's behavior did not change because you became less loving, it changed because you became less willing to abandon yourself. That realization forced them to confront the kind of relationship they were actually offering. And not everyone is ready to confront that truth immediately. Stay till the end, because this is not about predicting what they will do next, it's about understanding what has already changed within you. You are no longer negotiating your worth. You are no longer trying to be understood at the expense of your peace. You are standing in emotional adulthood, and that position changes everything. Whatever choice your soulmate makes from here will be shaped by this new reality. They can no longer return to the old dynamic, because it no longer exists. And that is not loss, that is evolution. Take a breath and let this settle. You did not cause distance by growing. You revealed the level of connection that was possible. The universe is honoring your alignment, even if the path feels uncertain right now. Trust that what is meant to meet you will rise to your level, not require you to step back down. Don't scroll, listen to this, because what is unfolding now is the quiet reckoning phase, the moment where energy settles and truth becomes unavoidable. And this message is for you because your heart has carried more than it should have. After the shift you created simply by becoming more grounded, more aware, more self-respecting, the connection entered a space where pretending was no longer possible. Your soulmate can feel it. They feel how the emotional ground beneath them has changed, how the comfort of ambiguity no longer exists, how your presence is no longer something they can access without intention. This phase is not loud, dramatic, or obvious, but it is powerful. It's the stage where the universe stops negotiating and starts aligning. Your soulmate is sitting with the realization that what changed overnight was not your love, but your availability to uncertainty. That realization follows them into quiet moments, late nights, pauses between thoughts, where the truth keeps resurfacing no matter how much they try to distract themselves. Stay with this, because this is where most people misunderstand what distance really means. Distance is not always loss, sometimes it's the space where consequences form. They are beginning to understand that your growth removed the safety net they relied on emotionally, the version of you who would wait, hope, explain, and hold space endlessly without receiving clarity in return. And when that net disappears, reality hits. This message is for you because you've felt the emotional shift too. You've noticed how your chest feels lighter when you stop overthinking them, how your energy feels calmer when you stop reaching, how silence no longer sends you into panic the way it once did. That's not detachment, that's alignment. Don't scroll away now, because this is the turning point where your spiritual awakening stabilizes. Angel numbers may still be appearing, but now they carry a different tone. Seeing 4. 44 feels grounding instead of alarming, reminding you that you are protected in this new emotional posture. Seeing 555 no longer feels chaotic, it feels like confirmation that the old dynamic cannot return. Seeing 222 no longer confuses you, it shows you clearly where balance was missing and why it couldn't last. Your heart needs this right now because you've been learning that love should not cost you your peace. Meanwhile, your soulmate is being confronted with the emotional weight of hesitation. They are realizing that growth doesn't wait forever, and alignment doesn't pause indefinitely. They feel the distance not just from you, but from the version of the connection that once felt familiar. That familiarity was built on emotional imbalance, and imbalance always collapses eventually. Listen carefully, because this is where the universe teaches the difference between attraction and readiness. Your soulmate may still feel pulled toward you, still think about you, still feel a sense of loss, but feeling is not the same as choosing. And the universe is no longer allowing feeling without accountability to continue unchecked. This message is for you because you are no longer meant to absorb the emotional cost of someone else's indecision. You have stepped into a phase where you can observe without collapsing, care without clinging, and love without self-erasure. That is not coldness. That is maturity. Don't scroll, because this part matters deeply. Your soulmate is now aware that reconnecting with you would require consistency, clarity, and emotional courage. They see that you are no longer available for half steps, mixed signals, or undefined intentions. That awareness creates tension, because growth demands action, not nostalgia. They may feel regret for not meeting you sooner at this level, but regret does not automatically translate into readiness. Your heart needs this clarity right now because it frees you from waiting for realization to turn into movement. You are no longer sitting in potential, you are standing in truth. Angelic guidance surrounds you now because you are integrating the lesson fully. Seeing 111 at this stage is no longer about beginnings with someone else, it's about honoring the beginning you chose with yourself. Seeing 333 reminds you that higher wisdom is guiding your emotional integration gently, without forcing outcomes. Listen to this, because the universe does not awaken you to leave you suspended. It awakens you so you can move forward without dragging old patterns behind you. Your soulmate's behavior may still feel unresolved, but your inner world is not. You are no longer asking why they changed, you understand what changed. You did. And that change exposed what could rise with you and what could not. Stay with this truth, because it is stabilizing. You are not meant to chase alignment. Alignment recognizes you. Whatever unfolds next in this connection will meet you at the level you now stand on, not the level you outgrew. And if it cannot meet you there, it will fall away without destroying you. That is the gift hidden inside this phase. You are no longer afraid of distance, because distance revealed your strength. You are no longer confused by silence, because silence taught you discernment. This chapter is not ending in loss, it is completing in wisdom. And from this place, only love that chooses clearly, shows up fully, and respects your growth will be able to stay. Don't scroll, listen to this, because what you are stepping into now is the final integration of everything this connection was meant to teach you, and this message is for you because your heart is finally steady enough to receive it without fear. This is the stage where the universe stops creating tension and starts creating truth you can stand on. The shift your soulmate noticed in you has fully taken root, and whether they have spoken or stayed silent, the dynamic has already transformed beyond reversal. You are no longer vibrating from longing or uncertainty, you are vibrating from clarity, and clarity changes outcomes even when nothing is said out loud. Your soulmate feels that. They feel that you are no longer emotionally orbiting them, no longer waiting for their readiness to determine your peace, no longer bending your intuition to protect their comfort. That awareness lands heavily, because it marks the end of emotional access without intention. Stay till the end, because this is where the universe closes the lesson gently but firmly. Your soulmate is now facing the reality that what changed overnight did not change back, and it will not. Growth does not retreat. Awareness does not unlearn itself. They can sense that if they were to come toward you now, it would require honesty, consistency, and courage at a level they have not yet practiced. That realization doesn't always produce action immediately, sometimes it produces stillness, observation, or internal reckoning. This message is for you because you are no longer meant to interpret that reckoning as your responsibility. The universe has moved you out of the role of emotional holder and into the role of witness. You can care without carrying. You can feel without fixing. That is power. Don't scroll away now, because this is where peace begins to replace vigilance. The anxiety that once lived in your body has softened. The need to check, wonder, or analyze has loosened its grip. You may still think of them, but the thoughts no longer spiral. That's not because the connection wasn't real. It's because the lesson is complete. Angel numbers may still appear, but they feel quieter now, less urgent. Seeing 444 feels like confirmation that you are safe in yourself. Seeing 555 feels like closure instead of chaos. Seeing 111 feels like self-alignment, not anticipation. Your heart needs this recognition because you've been through the hardest transition already, releasing hope that required you to stay small. Meanwhile, your soulmate is experiencing the delayed echo of that release. They are realizing that the version of you they once had access to no longer exists. Not because you hardened, but because you matured. They may feel regret, nostalgia, or a sense of loss, but those feelings arise from contrast, not from readiness. This message is for you because you are no longer meant to mistake emotional reaction for emotional availability. Reaction happens when something is lost. Availability happens when someone is ready to show up. And the universe is no longer asking you to wait and see which one appears. Listen carefully, because this is the final spiritual truth of this journey. Soulmate connections are not guarantees of permanence, they are catalysts for alignment. Some stay in form. Some stay as lessons. Both are sacred. Your connection did exactly what it was meant to do. It awakened you to your boundaries, your intuition, your emotional dignity, and your capacity to love without self-erasure. Don't scroll, because this next realization is grounding. You did not lose your soulmate by growing, you revealed the level of love you require. You did not push them away, you stepped forward into yourself. And whatever cannot walk with you at that level must step aside, not as punishment, but as order. Angelic guidance surrounds you now because the universe is stabilizing you in this new frequency. Seeing 333 reminds you that higher wisdom has been integrating quietly, without drama. Seeing 222 reminds you that balance is returning, not through compromise, but through self-respect. Listen to this gently, because this phase is not about endings, it's about readiness. You are now ready for connection that does not flinch at your clarity, that does not retreat from your growth, that does not require silence to manage fear. Your soulmate's behavior changed because you became someone who could no longer be met halfway without consequence. That truth will remain whether they rise to it or not. Stay with this feeling, because this is emotional sovereignty. You are no longer waiting for someone else to decide your worth, your timing, or your future. You are aligned. You are grounded. You are awake. And from this place, whatever comes next will not arrive suddenly, confusingly, or overnight. It will arrive steadily, openly, and without costing you your peace. Take a deep breath and let this settle. The universe has completed this chapter with intention. You are not behind. You are not lacking. You are not unfinished. You are prepared. And the love that meets you next will recognize your growth and choose you without hesitation, because that is the level you now stand on. Don't scroll, listen to this, because what you are standing in now is the calm after transformation, the place where the universe lets you feel the strength you earned, and this message is for you because your heart finally recognizes itself again. There is a quiet confidence settling into you that wasn't there before, and it didn't come from getting answers or closure from someone else, it came from choosing truth over confusion. The shift your soulmate noticed in you has now completed its work inside you, and whether they ever articulate what they felt or not no longer holds power over your peace. You can feel it in your body, in the way your breathing is steadier, in the way your thoughts don't spiral the same way they once did, in the way silence no longer feels like a threat. Stay with this, because this is where the universe shows you why everything unfolded exactly the way it did. Your soulmate's behavior changed because you outgrew the emotional frequency where uncertainty lived. That frequency no longer exists within you, and that is why the connection could not return to what it was. Growth does not rewind itself to make others comfortable. This message is for you because you are now seeing clearly that love is not proven through endurance of confusion, but through alignment that feels safe, honest, and mutual. Don't scroll away now, because this is where the lesson becomes wisdom. You are no longer asking why they noticed your change, you understand that they noticed your self-respect, your emotional maturity, your ability to sit in silence without abandoning yourself. That awareness didn't just change their behavior, it changed your destiny. Angel numbers may still appear, but now they feel affirming instead of urgent. Seeing 4. 44 feels like stability in your spine, a reminder that you are protected in your truth. Seeing 111 feels like inner alignment rather than anticipation. Seeing 8 hours 88 minutes feels like karmic completion, not loss. Your heart needs this grounding because you've crossed from seeking validation to embodying self-trust. Meanwhile, your soulmate is living with the echo of that shift. They may replay moments, recognize patterns, or finally understand what your growth required from them, but that realization arrives on their timeline, not yours. And for the first time, that difference in timing does not destabilize you. Listen carefully, because this is emotional sovereignty. You can care without waiting. You can love without shrinking. You can remember without reopening wounds. Don't scroll, because this part matters deeply. The universe is showing you that the connection didn't fail, it fulfilled its purpose. It awakened you to your worth, your boundaries, and your capacity to evolve without explanation. Some soulmates stay as partners, others stay as catalysts. Both are sacred. This message is for you because you are no longer meant to measure your growth by someone else's response. You are meant to honor how far you've come. Angelic guidance surrounds you now, not to warn you of loss, but to affirm your readiness. Seeing 333 reminds you that higher wisdom has integrated gently, without forcing outcomes. Seeing 222 shows you that balance has returned, not through compromise, but through self-alignment. Listen to this softly, because the universe speaks most clearly when you are no longer afraid. What changed overnight was not just their behavior, it was the direction of your life. You stepped into a version of yourself that cannot be met with half-steps or hesitation. And that means whatever comes next will arrive differently. It will arrive with clarity, consistency, and presence, not sudden withdrawal or confusion. Stay with this truth, because it is stabilizing. You are no longer bracing for abandonment. You are no longer decoding mixed signals. You are no longer waiting for someone to catch up to your growth. You are walking forward with it. And if your soulmate ever returns at this level, it will be because they rose, not because you reached back. That distinction matters. Don't scroll away now, because this is the final integration. You did not become distant, cold, or detached. You became grounded. You became discerning. You became someone who can feel deeply without losing themselves. That is not the end of love, that is the beginning of aligned love. Take a breath and let this settle into your nervous system. The universe has completed this chapter with precision. You are not behind. You are not unfinished. You are prepared. And from this place, whatever enters your life next will recognize your growth immediately, because you no longer need to explain who you are.